And when you look at IT contracting that goes on today, there's really there's really about 4 cases, right? The first case is I'm a vendor, a provider of a service, and I think one size fits all, right? And this is how we respond to every request for service. And another case is the customer says, this is the maximum I'm going to pay for any service that looks like this. And I'm going to issue an RFP that addresses, just that, right? That very narrowly defined, narrowly costed service model. So that's case 1. Case 2 is the vendor is willing to be collaborative, wants to be flexible, wants to try to create gain sharing, maybe opportunities, or at least looking at the problem a little differently. But the client insists on this is the maximum cost we're going to pay for this service, narrowly defined. The other side of the equation is the customer is willing to be open-minded and look for innovation, look for new ideas, but the vendor says one size fits all, it's got to look like this. I think you can tell that when you look at those cases, certainly when one side is inflexible, right, you're not going to get a very good solution. You're going to get something that basically makes somebody worse off. Right? So when the vendor is inflexible, the client automatically thinks, hey, I'm unique. And now you're not willing to meet my unique needs with this one-size-fits-all contract. Conversely, when the client is inflexible and says, this is it, we've done the work, this is the cost we're willing to pay, and it's narrowly defined for this, what then happens is that the vendor is never going to be really incented to provide innovation or better services because they're going to be so focused on making profitability at a very low margin basis all the time. And it won't create opportunities for success for both parties. Lastly, if the one choice where they both are narrowly defined, one's inflexible, one's very inflexible on cost, if for some reason those two create an equilibrium, they create a match, how successful is that going to be really? Because both parties don't value the other party. And so it really is a transaction. Take that and contrast it to a collaborative state where both parties work together and actually define their success functions. So what's a success for the supplier of the service and what's a success for the buyer of the service? And what are long-term successes and short-term successes? And by both parties collaboratively identifying that and sharing full disclosure of information. So the client shares everything they can about their operation, how they did things in the past, how they operate today, and the vendor of the service provides full disclosure of how they solve these problems, what types of resources they use, and what is their measurement for best practices in terms of how many hours per incident or how many hours per item, whatever it may be, right? For lines of code, as an example. When full disclosure and full collaboration come together, then you have an opportunity to create a true collaborative agreement with gain sharing opportunities for both parties that really foster innovation and growth, and it's a real partnership.